24 U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6 operators, 2 $5.9 million stealth helicopters, each operator armed with a $16,000 helmet, a $37,000 night vision goggle system, an $11,000 bulletproof vest, $1,800 pants, a $7,000 firearm, $1,200 sidearm, and a whole lot of ammunition. This is what it took to take down and kill Osama bin Laden, the leader of the Pan-Islamic Militant Organization, or as you might know him, Al-Qaeda. After my speech, you guys will be able to describe and summarize the Operation Neptune Spear, the mission that took down Osama bin Laden. Throughout my speech, I'm going to hit 3 major points. I'm going to talk about finding bin Laden, I'm going to talk about training for the mission, and of course, the mission. So let's get started. Finding bin Laden. Immediately following 9/11, bin Laden ran. As soon as the war in Afghanistan started, he knew that America and our allies were going to be trying to find him to get our revenge. So he ran and he hid. We started a manhunt for him. After a 10-year manhunt, a member of our CIA spotted one of his couriers running a daily errand for him in the local market. She followed him all the way back to a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, where we believed Osama to be. After a whole year of intelligence and surveillance, trying to figure out, is this really where Osama is, we could confirm that Osama was in fact living at the compound. We knew this because there was this tall man, his code name was the Walker, before we knew he was Osama bin Laden. And he would come out to the compound and he would walk around and he would talk to all the females gardening, and those happened to be his wives. He had 6 wives. And he would walk around and go back in, but we still weren't quite sure if that was Osama bin Laden. Then one day we got a close-up photo that he was missing his left earlobe, confirming that it was in fact Osama bin Laden. And the CIA and Air Force intelligence got pictures of the compound and everything they could. They found out that Osama bin Laden was on the 3rd floor and his son Khalid was on the first floor on the right, on the 2nd floor. So now we have all the information and everything we need to make the mission happen. So now I'm going to move on to the training. So 24 U.S. Navy SEALs were brought into a briefing room and they were told, we have Osama bin Laden, we know where he is. And they were given the option, you have the right to not go on this mission, you do have a 90% chance of dying. And this is because if any terrorist was going to martyr themselves and explode an explosive vest on them, it was going to be Osama bin Laden. And so all the SEALs, being the Americans that they were, said, let's do it, we're all going to go for it. And so they started training. Now, in North Carolina, with all the photos that we got and everything that we had brought in about the compound, they built an exact replica of the compound in North Carolina. And when I say exact replica, I mean there was the same vegetables growing in the gardens, there was the same height of the door handles. We could see inside the building just a little bit, and as far as we could see in, they replicated everything from the height of the tables to what was on the tables to where the staircase is, what is the pitch on the staircase, everything. Now, after going over hundreds and hundreds of scenarios of what could possibly happen, what could possibly go wrong, how are we going to do it, if this happens, what about this, and training for that, it was time to go on the mission. Now, the SEALs were given 2 weeks at their homes to go back to their families and hang out with them, spend time with them. They weren't allowed to tell their families that this could possibly and most likely be the last time they were going to see their families. So they had to treat it as if it was any other time. All right, I'll see you in 3 weeks. And so that's how it went. On May 2nd, 2011, 24 U.S. Navy SEALs got on 2 stealth Black Hawk helicopters and headed for Abbottabad, Pakistan from their air base in Afghanistan. It was a 90-minute flight, and Pakistan is actually one of the U.S.'s allies, and so we're on good terms, but we did not tell Pakistan that we were entering their country because we wanted to limit the amount of possibility of Osama finding out that we were on our way. And so it was a 90-minute flight, and we were going full speed before Pakistan could find out that we were in their territory. Now, once we arrived at the compound, the 2nd helicopter drops all the SEALs down, 12 SEALs, on the outside, and they start to break their way in. And the 1st helicopter is supposed to come down from the top and let the SEALs propel onto the roof, and they were supposed to meet in the middle on the 3rd floor where Osama was. Unfortunately, the updraft from the helicopter hitting the compound walls made the helicopter crash in the front yard. Now, you may think, this is going to wreck the mission, what's going to happen now, we're all going to die. But actually, that was one of the scenarios that the Navy SEALs trained for. And so they just said, hey, the 1st helicopter's down in the front yard, go. And so they knew what that meant, they knew what they were supposed to do. And so they didn't miss a step, and they finished the mission. Now, fast forwarding to getting inside and meeting up, they were at the bottom of the staircase. Now they remembered that Khalid, Osama bin Laden's son, was on the 1st door on the right. they see, as they're going up the staircase, they see a man pop out of the door on the right with a rifle and pop back in, trying to hide. And the point man, the guy in front, was fluent in Arabic. And so in perfect Arabic, he says, "Hey, Khalid, come here, it's okay." And Khalid comes out of the door with his rifle down, thinking it's his brother's, and he takes a shot in the head. The second SEAL grabs him before he falls on the staircase and lays him down quietly on the staircase so that no one else gets woken up. They finish clearing the second floor and they make their way to the third floor, where they knew Osama was supposed to be. And this is where it gets intense. So, the top of the third floor, there's a curtain. And under the curtain, they see a dress. They see multiple dresses. And what a dress meant in the Middle East was it wasn't good news, especially around Osama bin Laden. See, the reason they had a 90% chance for survival was because the women around Osama bin Laden and his wives were known to wear explosive vests. Because men don't die for women in the Middle East, women die for men. And so they expected, hey, every girl, if you see a girl, tackle them because they probably have an explosive vest on. And so the first man up removes the curtain. He actually sees Osama bin Laden standing there with his wife, and then he sees two females right here next to him. He had the chance to kill Osama bin Laden. Instead, he drops his gun, he picks up both of the females, and he starts running down the hallway, trying to get the blast as far away from his SEAL team as possible. Now, the second guy up the staircase, again, sees Osama bin Laden. He sees his buddy chasing two females down the hallway, and he knows one SEAL isn't enough to take the blast from two vests. So he chases his buddy down the hallway. They make it to the end of the hallway, and both SEALs dive on the two girls, ready to explode a blast. Fortunately, they weren't wearing vests, and they ended up just zip tying their hands together, and everyone lived. The third guy up, his name was Robert O'Neill. This was actually his 400th mission as a Navy SEAL. He made his way up. He saw his buddies. He saw Osama bin Laden. He saw that Osama bin Laden wasn't surrendering. He wasn't showing any sign of compliance. And so he actually shot Osama bin Laden twice above the neck, and then once again when he hit the ground. That's what he tells the officials, but in interviews that I've seen, he said he unloaded his whole clip on Osama bin Laden. So yeah, that was the mission, to kill Osama bin Laden. After they killed him, and they said that it was him, and they notified it was him and everything, they went through the compound, they got all the computers they could, all the intelligence they could, and then when they were leaving, they put Osama bin Laden's body on one helicopter, and then they put DNA samples on the other helicopter. That way, if the Pakistani could get them in time, and one helicopter was shot down, they would still make it back to the U.S. or Afghanistan with evidence that Osama bin Laden was in fact dead. So, to review, I went over how we found Osama bin Laden, the CIA agent that found his courier. Then I went over the training for the mission and the exact replica they built down to the cubic square inch of what the compound looked like and everything. Then I went onto the mission and the 90-minute helicopter ride it took, and 24 Navy SEALs going through the compound, going up the 2-3 stories, finding Osama bin Laden, getting all the intelligence they could, and then again making the 90-minute flight back. Every Navy SEAL was okay, none of them died, they all made it back and are still alive today. So that was the mission of Osama bin Laden. Now I want to leave you guys in conclusion with kind of an interesting, funny, maybe inappropriate thought. So Osama bin Laden was actually the 17th of 52 children from his parents. He had multiple dads, multiple moms, but they were all one family in the neighborhood. 52 children, and he was the 17th. And it makes me think, if anyone were to have 52 children, I would say that one of them is bound to be a terrorist. You can't really keep track of 52 children. One of them is bound to go do something wrong. So if we could learn a lesson from this, it's either not to be a terrorist or just keep it to single digits when you guys have kids.